Mistakes will be made in your journey to buying a house in Chicago. Here are 7 common mistakes that homebuyers make during their home buying journey in Chicago. You're watching Living in Chicago, Illinois. Let's go. Mistake number 1 is going to be falling in love with the property way too soon. People, you do it all the time. You did it with your old boyfriends. You did it with your old girlfriends. You saw them across the way and you thought that they were the one, and you got involved, and all of a sudden, they were not exactly what you thought they would be. The same thing happens with real estate. You go online, you look at Zillow, you look at Trulia, you look at Redfin, you go to Google Maps, you see something on Facebook Marketplace, and you look at the stuff that I'm sending you, and you look at it, and you go, Antonio, this house, this is the one. Let's offer full price. And I say, whoa. We have to go see it first there, Brenda. Okay, we have to go see the house first. We go to see the property, and by the time we get there, we're not even in the house. You look at the neighborhood, and you go, damn, where are we at? Is this Chirac? No. This is the block that pretty house that you like was on. Well, where is it? And I go, it's right there. And you go, that's not the house. I go, oh, no. That's the house. The picture that you saw was the Photoshop version of the house. Let's go inside. We're here anyway. We go inside, and all of a sudden, it is night and day difference. Everything looks different. The colors on the walls are different. There is garbage laying everywhere because the owners, they live there, so they have the house all messy, and all of a sudden you're walking around going, ugh, I'm so upset right now, Antonio. How dare you bring me to see this house? No, you just have to pay more attention next time and understand you can't fall in love with every house that you see online because there can be a letdown, okay? Mistake number 2 that people make when they're buying a house for the first time in Chicago is that they ignore the basement. The first thing I do when I go show somebody a house that has a basement, specifically if it's in Chicago, or like Cicero Borough, and I run to the basement and I check to see if there is any sort of water line on the walls in the basement, especially, and even if there's like furniture, I go and make sure, and I kind of move the couch a little bit to see if they're hiding anything, because believe it or not, just because we're not in the suburbs doesn't mean that the houses won't flood. You already know it. You hear it all the time. Somebody forgot to open up the floodgates to prevent water from getting into people's houses in Chicago, and now there's water everywhere in the basement. People's furnitures get ruined, their equipment gets ruined. I lost a one wheel in a flood, but we'll talk about that later on. Those memories are too painful, but water happens, people. So not going into the basement and really taking a look can ruin somebody's experience, even if you get an inspector and they miss something. It's just water's terrible. When you go in the basement, you check for water lines. You want to go take a look at the mechanicals. Are the mechanicals on top of bricks at least 2 feet, maybe 3 feet? Where is the furnace situated? Is there a sump pump in the ground? And if there is there water in the sump pump reservoir? Is the sump pump working? Okay. How old are the boilers? How old is the HVAC system? Is the HVAC system high efficiency? And then what's the lighting situation in the basement? Is there only one light for the entire basement? Are you going to bump your head because the ceiling's too low when you walk in the basement? These are things that you have to pay attention to when you're buying a house in Chicago, because this is just the way that some of these houses are built, and it's some of the things that you have to watch out for. Now, the other thing you have to watch out for, this is mistake number 3 that people make when they're buying a house in Chicago, is they don't check for public transportation. Because not everybody has a car, not everybody has an easy way to get to work. Some people buy the houses specifically because they want to be able to get to work easier, but then they never check to see how far away the bus is. They never check to see how far away the L is. You want to make sure that you look at all that, because by the time you buy the house and then you figure you got to go to work to pay for it, you can't call the realtor like me, myself, and say, Antonio, where's the train? And I'm gonna say, I don't know. Well, where did you park it? And he's like, no. Where's the L? I need. Where's the bus? And I'm gonna say, well, I don't know. You gotta Google. You have to Google that. Why? Well, because that's how I get to work. It's like, well, you never mentioned that. And every time I saw you, you pulled up in a nice Lamborghini all the time. You always made fun of my car, even though it's a new car. You never mentioned that you needed the bus or the train. Well, I do. Okay, well, Google Map it. But Antonio, it's a 20-minute walk, and my old place was only a 5-minute walk. Hey, you didn't tell me, and you didn't make it a priority for yourself. Mistakes were made. There you go. The other thing, mistakes people make with buying a house in Chicago is they underestimate their property taxes and or special assessments if they're buying a condo. Here's the deal. Chicago property taxes fluctuate, believe it or not, in pockets in Chicago. And what you really want to make sure of is that you're looking at at both both parts of the tax bill. The second part of the tax bill really tells the story of what kind of charges there are specifically for that property when it comes to property taxes. Okay, so you want your attorney to maybe print it out, or don't be lazy. Go online yourself. Go to the Cook County Assessor's website, or the Cook County Treasurer's website. Type in the address and take a look at that property's tax bill. Yes, the agents can do it, but guess what? The internet is there. You can do it as well, and take a look to see at that tax bill. Remember, the taxes get reassessed. I think it's something like every 2 years. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I can't think straight right now. But property taxes get assessed every year, every other year. You do have a way of combating those taxes, getting a tax attorney involved, and maybe getting those taxes chopped down a little bit. You will have to pay a fee, but don't ignore the taxes and understand the area that you're living in. Sometimes they get hit really hard with new assessment, especially with the new mayor that we got in Chicago. Shout out to Brandon Johnson. The other thing, too, mistakes that people make when they're buying a house for the first time in Chicago is they skip the permit history. Here's the deal. You have an attorney for a reason, and the reason is so that they can check to see if whether or not there are any open and pending violations on the property that you're buying in Chicago. Because when you move into a place like Chicago, those people, they like to write their tickets, and by those people I mean what is that? The city of Chicago. The city of Chicago is I'm going to call them the ticket writing team, but I think they're like building inspectors or home inspectors. So they'll go out, they'll write out all these violations, like this deck looks like it's going to collapse, so we're going to give you a ticket for that, or these windows look bad, or you're not cutting your grass, or the house needs a painting, painting, and people sell their houses, and they themselves don't check to see what kind of violations they have. They put the house on the market without telling anybody anything. It gets past the attorneys, and all of a sudden, closing day, somebody comes in and they go, oh, by the way, did you know that this house has like 18 violations on it? But don't worry, we'll be funded in an hour, and you'll have keys in an hour. And then you have to take over the responsibility of satisfying the violations. You don't want to do that. Make sure you have your attorney pull a violation and permit history to see if anybody did anything DIY. They did the electrical in the entire house by themselves without pulling a permit, and it's a fire hazard. It's going to be your problem if you buy the property and you get hit with the permits, or if the permits are already existing and you got to take them over. Here's another mistake that Chicagoans make when they're buying a house is they pick the wrong realtor. Okay, here's what I mean by that. Okay, not all realtors are created equal. They're not. Okay, some people have only had history selling one house, but they've been a realtor for like 50 years. Some realtors only do it part-time, so they may, it may not be their thing because they're too busy working their main job. Some realtors don't know the areas the same as any other realtors do, and for that, they wouldn't know the little quirks and nuances. Like they wouldn't know if a certain part of the area flooded. They wouldn't have any idea as to the how the schools are, what the schools are rated, even though all this information is online. You can look it up yourself. Just you want to make sure that if you do get a realtor, you are working with a realtor, ask them, hey, have you sold in this area before? And if you haven't sold in this area before, what do you know currently about the property? A savvy realtor like myself, who hasn't worked specifically everywhere, there's too many tools available online for me not to know what's going on in that neighborhood. And plus, I usually like to call realtors in the area to say, hey, I noticed you have a listing. Can you tell me why it's been on the market for so long? Is there anything I need to know about the area that you can share with me? And that usually goes over pretty well, and I'll get the answers I want like that, and you don't really have to worry. But again, it depends on what realtor you're working with, because not all realtors are willing to do the work. Now, here is one more tip for you. Mistakes that people make when they're buying a house in Chicago. Some of them assume that parking is going to be simple. Okay? Buy a house with a garage. Buy a house with a garage. Buy a house with a garage. And if it doesn't have a garage, be prepared to have that spot in the back, that slab in the back, have a concrete poured on it so that you have a spot, so that you could have a gate in the back so you can, enclose your car if that's something that you want to do. But again, if you're going to buy a house in Chicago, just because we went to see the house at 10 o'clock in the morning and there was hella parking, that doesn't mean that the day you move in and you leave the Menards, you come back, you go to Home Depot, come back, go to Ace Hardware, you come back. All of a sudden, you come back and it's 5 o'clock, and all of a sudden there's no parking. Matter of fact, people are parked on the lawn because that area doesn't hold parking. Know in advance how the parking habits are. Is there permit parking? Are there 100 handicap parking spots on the block? Because that happens. Know in advance. So what do? You go see the house, and then you drive the block. You drive it at 1, you drive it at 4, you drive it at 7. You go see it in the morning at 10 o'clock, and then you tell your realtor, hopefully me, hey, Antonio, I do like the house, and I will be parking my car in front because our family has 50 cars. 2 will go in the garage, the other 48 will go outside, and there's enough space outside for us to park the cars, and you will be a happy camper. So, to my counting, that was 7. I think it was 7. 7 mistakes people make. I'll give you one more. Don't go nowhere. I'll give you one more. Okay, this is a bonus. If it's not bonus, it's number 7. Skipping a winter or rainy day walkthrough. This is a mistake that a lot of people make. As your realtor, if it is a beautiful summer week and we go and see a property and it's dry and the basement looks good, the attic looks good, there really isn't any way for us to tell if the place floods or if the roof leaks unless it rains crazy, right? Or unless it rains at all, because sometimes the crazy rain isn't necessarily needed for it to flood or for the place to leak. So if it does rain or if it does snow or something like that, you may want to push your realtor, hey, listen, I would really like to go see this property one more time, especially since the day we went to go see the property, I saw evidence of discoloration in the attic. I saw evidence of there may possibly being some sort of flooding in the basement because it rained. Would it be cool for us to go and see the property for like 10 minutes? And do your realtor a favor. Your realtor is busy. If you spent a half an hour at the house the first time and you want to go see it on the day after it rains, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then be gone, because I'm sure your realtor has a lot to do. So those were at least 7 mistakes that Chicagoans make when they're buying a house in 2025. If you want to see more videos, click the link or click subscribe, click the notifications, leave me a comment on the next video that you want me to make, and follow me. And if you want to work with me, just call me at the number listed, or you can find my contact information in the comments below. But that's it. Living in Chicago, those were 7 mistakes that people make when they're buying a house in Chicago, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Take care.